seconds, you're going to meet the sensational star Krithik. Did you hear it as Krithik? Yeah, Krithik has inspired a lot of heroes in Bollywood, Tollywood, Hollywood, Kollywood. But this guy has got nothing to do with wood, only steel. He makes robos. He's credited to other inventions like solar cars and e-bikes, and he's a TEDx speaker. He's honored with an honorary doctorate. He has trained over 5,000 students internationally on technologies. When you hear this, do you think this guy should be a senior guy? No, he is just a schoolboy who you will see near your homes. And that is Krithik Vijayakumar. Welcome, Krithik. Welcome to the show, Krithik.
Hello, sir.
Hi. I'm seeing a scientist for the first time. So, as a scientist, you may be obsessed with a single idea for a prolonged period of time. Maybe hours together, weeks together. What do you do for remaining focused? And I'm sure you cannot be focused all the time. You also need to unwind. You may have to relax. So, what do you do for relaxing yourself?
So when it comes to my case, from my childhood, I had these wheezing problems. So automatically, my mom made me to stay in my home. So 24/7, I'll be in my home just for schools. Even I take a long leave in schools itself. So because of these wheezing issues. So my parents, they bought me these electronic toys like remote cars and these playing stuff. So I get bored playing that for a long time. So I just remove those cars or whatever the toy I'm having, and I'll just make a new toy, or I'll just explore what is happening inside.
So you are toying around with toys.
Yeah.
And wheezing problem, you were limited to home. That became your biggest advantage,
Yes.
right? So for everybody, if WFH is work from home, for you it has been wheezing from home.
Yes. So that's one of the largest kind of advantage for me to maintain focus, because I was unable to come out of that particular situation.
Okay.
Because from my childhood, I have been trained to get in my house and to play with toys, and I am not trained to go out and socialize with friends. So that's one of a major issue, I think, but that's a good advantage.
So this robotic inventor story started with a toy story.
Yeah. So coming on to the point, what I'll be doing. So I also have few of my hobbies, I collect coins. So collecting coins is something very much interesting because I like antiques. So these antique, my dad, he bought some Malaysian coins, and what it was I started to collect more rare coins, rare Indian coins, which was under the circulation, and that was a very interesting part for me because I have.
So you are never bothered about demonetization.
Yeah,
you still have all the old coins.
Yeah, I still have all the coins. I have coins of.
So that's the other side of your coin. Very interesting perspective.
Yes, this is how I focus, and these are my few hobbies I do.
Wonderful. Well, I watch a lot of movies. There are science fiction movies which have interested me. For example, Wall-E or iRobo. I know from when a commoner watches the movie, and when somebody who has got the keen inclination towards science watches this movie, there should be some kind of a difference. So what kind of difference did you feel? Or what kind of feeling did these movies trigger in you? Did something inspire you? Did you find something funny?
Yeah. When it comes to Wall-E, one of my favorite movie, it's a trash collecting robot. So when I just saw the movie, it was very much interesting because from my childhood I'm watching these movies. So Wall-E was one such movie, and iRobot also because that's a kind of written story by Isaac Asimov, the father of robotics.
True.
So I love watching those movies. So when I learned these robotics and all the technological stuff, so when I came back and saw these movies, I thought this was easy. I mean, this can be made easy. So that was one perspective I had when looking at these movies. Because a lot of tech geeks, when they look at these movies, they
Yes.
find kind of mistakes. But I find ideas from those movies. So that's how I actually see those.
Wow. So you're able to get the creative juice, or you're able to expect something good from anything.
Exactly.
Wonderful. I've heard this incident about Padma Vibhushan Vishwanathan Anand when he was a school student like you. When he traveled for a competition by train on a weekday, there was a passenger who accosted him and asked him, what do you do? He said, I'm going for a chess tournament. Today is a school day. Yeah, I missed school for the last 2 weeks. So then the passenger advised him, hey, be careful. Don't think you can become Vishwanathan Anand. Everybody can't become Vishwanathan. So, like this, was there somebody who undermined you or maybe advised you without knowing your true potential?
Yeah, this has happened a lot of times to say. Like wherever I go, let us say I'm going to a fun family function or let's say I'm meeting new people, they'll ask what are you doing? I'll say like I'm doing robotics and these innovations, and the next question they'll be asking is like what about your academics? So academics, I'll say okay, I'm also concentrating on this academics and I'm doing it good. So they'll say like don't leave your academics and just concentrate in your academics and full fledged, so you'll get good grades and you'll get good job in the future. So what I'll be doing is like they'll also give a half an hour advice. So I'll actually, personally I hate advices, but also advices are something that are really helpful because it also has some kind of positive messages in it.
Okay.
So I also grab the positiveness.
Wonderful. So you don't take that half an hour advice half-heartedly.
Yeah.
You fully absorb the intent of the person advising.
Yeah.
Okay, then what do you do?
Then like after a few days, what I'll do is like I'll just go for a competition or any kind of, I'll just make an achievement in just few days and show them that I'm worthy enough to balance both. So that's what I actually show to people who are advising to me. But I won't make it like something like a harmful thing. But I'll just show them what is my
wonderful, wonderful. You don't boast about yourself, but you provide them the facts or for reason for them to calibrate against their original perception about
exactly.
Great. Is there something that you can say that many of the school-going children of my age do, but I don't?
So to go back, like since I said I have my wheezing problems, so the socializing part, I won't actually do it. So what I'll be doing is like whenever I go to my friends and when I speak with them, and the thing is like I don't know, like I'll be interested to speak with them, but they won't be speaking with me. The fact is because like I don't know to socialize good, I don't know to speak good. Okay. So let's say if they're saying some secrets to me and I just say to entire people in the crowd. So that's one of the disadvantage which my friends face. And what I'll be doing is like
I also consider that is just a corollary of one of the traits that you have.
Yeah.
You want to share a lot to this world, right? That's why you're training the international community, research scholars on building robots.
Yes. Yeah. So like also like to say a good example, one of the things which most of the kids do is they'll go for cycling. So they want to explore the world and they want to actually pedal the cycle, and that's a different experience. So what I did was I didn't care about the cycle and these experience and adventurous things. I just converted my cycle to electric.
So converting the cycle into an e-cycle is a very important milestone in your life cycle.
Yes.
Okay. This is the first time I'm talking to a scientist. If somebody is to become a scientist or an innovator, if there are three things that somebody should have to become a scientist, successful scientist, what would they be? And if you think there are three attributes that somebody should avoid, they will pull you down from success, what do you think those would be?
So becoming a scientist, leaving all the educational qualifications, they need this core kind of thing. Core kind of character. So first thing, scientists should be made up of like they should have kind of learning tendency. Like whatever they know in robotics, whatever extent they know in robotics, it's going to be just 1% of entire robotics. Okay. So they should be having.
And you believe that applies to you?
Yeah, that applies to me. Like I'm not even 1%. I just go with 0.000. So the second thing is like they should be creative.
Okay.
So creative in the sense like whatever projects they make, it should be something. Let it be crazy. Besides that, it should be kind of helpful. Like it should be based on some kind of major issue that the public or the world is facing. So that's one thing. I
got you. So which means that the substance is more important than form. Yeah. We know that there are inventions on for nail polish dryer. Yeah. There are Guinness records for growing nails. So it should be something really which is useful for the public. Wonderful. Yeah. What would be the third one?
Third one is like whatever product, like let them be creative, but whatever product they are taking to the public, it should be very much kind of innovative and it should actually reach to the public in a case. So that's one thing they have to do, because solving a problem is a kind of thing that's easy, but reaching that solution to everyone is the major part over here. So what is my perspective is like the quality should increase and the cost should decrease. So this is my perspective of way of thinking. So if every innovator has this particular core, then a lot of things, there will be a lot of change in the future.
Yeah, truly speaking, it is possible. Yeah. That is why there is something called Deming's chain reaction. Yeah. It starts with improving quality, reducing cost, providing more and more job improvement opportunities. I'm happy that a school-going child has got this kind of ambition. Now coming to three things which should be avoided, or three attributes somebody, this is a no-no for somebody to become a successful scientist.
So first thing is like the scientist shouldn't have any ego. Because ego actually kills a person, literally it kills a person. So if they have these egos, like what few of the tech nerds, what they'll do is like, they'll just catch a one particular keyword which no one understands and uses this keyword in the public and everyone thinks that he's an intelligent guy. So the second thing is like, their inventions. Whatever the inventive step should be kind of not destructive. Like, let's say, because technology has a lot of destructive things.
Yes.
Like, it destroys jobs. It's going to destroy a lot of things in the future. So, with this destruction, you should not create external destruction.
So, what you're saying is the pace in which a new technology is introduced should be slow and steady, and it should not immediately create a turbulence in the livelihood of people. I love that point. What do you think would be the third thing that somebody should know?
Third thing is like, whatever product they're developing. Let's say if they're taking it to the public, it should be not marginalized to a particular community. So let's say if it's being marginalized to one particular community, then there's no use. For example, to say recently an electric car company, when they spoke to come into India, they said like the barriers are really high, I mean the tax barriers.
Okay.
So when they just start production of their car, car or whatever electric vehicle in India, automatically, let's say the starting price of the electric car is like 50 lakhs and then imagine like, with the taxes it goes to 60 or 70 lakhs. So electric cars are something that are made to conserve the environment. Then just imagine only one particular community buying this electric cars. So that's not a really good thing. So whatever invention you're making, that should be mostly reaching to everybody.
Affordable to everybody.
It should be affordable and everyone should actually buy it. So that's one thing. They should make kind of technology that is completely marginalized to one community. So that's one thing they should not go.
That's fabulous, I think, because it also aligns with Dr. Kalam's vision of affordable innovation, right? Reaching the bottom of the pyramid. Because if you can, let us talk about a middle class family. If somebody is to visit a showroom and buy a shirt, then he buys a shirt for 600 rupees, where the shirt can be sold at a good profit, even at 400 rupees. And he pays the 200 rupees extra for it. The 200 rupees, had it been charged 400, then he would have used the 200 for buying a book or feeding some needy or buying a toy for his child. Anything is possible. Yeah. So affordable innovation, I'm with you. And I'm sure that this is going to take you to greater heights. Now, I'm very sure you are a keen observer being an inventor. You have observed the parents of some of your friends or parents amongst your relative circle and many other areas. Is there some way that your parents are distinctly different from most of them?
Obviously, I should actually give a very greater difference when compared to other parents, because like, let me give you a small incident. When I just went to a competition, what happened was like, I just lost the competition, it was Robotics Expo, so I just lost the event, and when I just came back to home, before coming back, I was in the auditorium, the competition auditorium, and as the event just got concluded, everyone's parents was scolding their kids for not winning the competition. So I was like, there were only 3 places, and why these people are actually scolding kids? And I was the one who was very much afraid, because I have to go home, and because that's a public environment, so maximum they won't harm them much. But if it's a home, they're going to harm it. Let's say we can't actually predict what is going to happen. So what happened was like, as I went to my home, I said, sorry, I lost the event. My parents just gave a treat. So this was a thing that inspired me and motivated me to go for the next events. So they said to focus on things that are completely, whatever you lost this for that event, you have to concentrate on the next event. So I upgraded the project and updated all the things, and next event I just won the event. So that's a good kind of motivation way I actually got.
I find this incident to be truly different. Had they not given you the treat, then you would have beaten a hasty retreat from robotics itself.
Yeah, I would have just come out this field of robotics, and I would have taken some other field.
I know you watch a lot of movies, and I heard that Nayak is one of your personal favorites as well. So like a one-day chief minister, if you are made a one-day education minister, what would be the policy document that you would love to sign first?
So one of my major aims is like everyone should be having the idea of technology and robotics. So I'll be signing on a document where every schools, like whether it be government or private, or every schools, every syllabus, they should be having a separate lab of robotics education. So, so like if they are technologically updated, then they are able to battle the future issues of technology. Because obviously technology is going to bring a lot of job losses. So if they are technologically updated, then they are able to overcome those job losses and they are able to make a kind of new. I mean, so they can create any kind of new job sectors.
Okay, so you consider technology as a self-defense against a massive technology.
Exactly. So, so everyone, like let it be government schools or private schools, everyone should be having a basic knowledge about technology, at least a programming skills or anything about technology or robotics. So that is the first signature I'll be putting.
Okay, wonderful. You are a prodigy to me. So when you see some inventions of today, has this kind of a provoking thought come to your mind? Had I been born 10 years ago, even I could have invented this, or I could have invented this differently. Had this kind of a thought come to your mind?
Yeah, like I've literally got this thought a lot of times to say, to say a good example, when I was learning robotics, I was in a learning process about the programming things. So Arduino was one such famous board that was introduced. I mean, it was introduced long back, but I came to know about Arduinos that time only. So when I was developing this Arduino board, what I thought was like, okay, Arduino is a kind of simple kind of thing. But suddenly I got an idea, why can't we just make computers into a single board? I mean, it was smaller size and compact size, so everyone will be able to buy it. So that was one idea I actually got. So what I did was like I started to research on this projects, and 2 days later I got this message that there is a computer called as Raspberry Pi. Now, when I researched about that, the same ideology, the same spec, what I actually thought was in that particular Raspberry Pi, and when I just saw that when was the Raspberry Pi introduced, it was like years back, like
so you thought it's a futuristic thought, but somebody has already done.
Somebody has already did it. So I was like, okay. So from that day, whatever projects I made, I started to search in Google or internet and finally conclude what is that project new or old. So I also come to a different perspective because mostly everything has been invented. I mean, every kind of resources is available in that. So what I'll be personally doing is like I'll just take those projects and try to reduce the cost and try to make kind of further modifications so everyone is able to buy it or afford it.
That's an honorable mission. So I know that you're mentoring a good number of international students as well, on not just robotics, but in other areas like mobile app development and all that. So did you have a myth or a fear or anything when you first started to interact with them? And later on, you found comfortable. How was the first experience with handling the international community?
Yeah, like I was afraid because a lot of people around me said like you're training international students and they are not actually normal. Because one main thing when it comes to international students is like like people what they say is like they are actually good efficient English speakers. So if I want to take class them for them in English, then
so you thought they are efficient in English and you are deficient in English.
Yeah. So like what I did was like in the first or second class I was like blinking, oh my god, how could I teach these students? And but when I started to speak, even they were normal. Even they were like, okay, I'm able to understand you, and even I was able to get what they are actually speaking. So actually, after training a lot of students, I just erased that myth, and it became something very much normal of taking classes to normal students.
I think you've carved a niche for yourself in technology. You are a founder of a robotics company now. I've got an interesting question for you. During your childhood days, did you experiment with some other field, some other interest, some other arts before you finally found that robotics is my real passion?
Yeah, like that was thing that happened in my childhood because like my parents actually joined me in most of the classes like chess, karate, music, keyboard, and a lot of the classes. So I just went to a lot of online classes too and art classes. So there were lots and lots of kind of experiments which was being done by me, and finally concluding that I just say like after every course like I'll be performing.
So like Mahatma Gandhi, if you want to write a book, the title will be My Experiments with Classes.
Yes. So like for every particular subject, like let's take karate, I was performing good and I also got yellow belt. And chess, I also went to the next level. And in every field, I was passing to the next level. And I just turned back to my parents and asked this one question: I'm not interested in this field. Why did you actually join me in this field? So I was performing good, but this was the question I asked to my parents. But what happened is, like, at last, after every single thing, they finally put me in this field of robotics, and till now I'm continuing well in this. Performing good in this particular field. So I experimented in literally lots of field, and finally robotics. They concluded that robotics is the best field.
Okay, I've learned a lesson from this response as a parent myself. There are many parents who would enroll their children in one or the other classes. Sometimes the child wouldn't express that kind of an interest then and there. And when the child is really interested towards something else, the parents would say, no, you are never consistent, you don't go to classes. And they could kind of deny an opportunity for somebody to create a world record. So allow your child to learn to identify what suits their interest. Repeatedly give it a try. Like Krithik, your child could find their own niche and grow in that. Now, Krithik, you were in a phase, you said that you were in a phase that you were losing competitions. Right? So today, from losing, you are in a point of choosing. There are certain opportunities you may really want to lose because you don't have the time for it. Maybe being called in as a chief guest for an event, or being called for an award ceremony, or giving a training session for students. So you are obviously choosing some, losing some. So how do you find this kind of a privileged state that you are in? So what kind of feelings does this trigger in your mind?
So this is something. This feeling is completely different to say because, like, once upon a time I was losing every event, and today I'm just winning a lot of events and I'm getting a lot of opportunities, but I have really less time.
So these events today have made your life eventful.
Yeah. So, like, in just a single week, I'm getting lots of tasks, lots of new opportunities, and there are also chances that I may lose one or two opportunities too. So what I'll be thinking at that case is, like, okay, if I'm losing this opportunity, like, someone who are in the same level like me will get that opportunity. So that's one thing. That's one of my ideologies. So I don't feel bad for losing.
You don't feel guilty, and you feel happy instead that somebody else would make you. Somebody else will turn in as a chief guest. Somebody else will get that mentoring opportunity. Yeah. That's a wonderful attitude. I think even though you are a very sharp, intuitive guy, have you ever seen this kind of a circumstance that has a thought come to you? Oh my God, how did I miss this point? I could have done this much before. And had this been done before, my project would have been much better than what it is today. Have you come across such kind of scenarios?
Yeah, I've come across a lot of these scenarios. To say, like, for example, I also recently developed a smart car. So while developing that project, before giving the model to the fabricators thought, like, okay, this model is possible, and also after that they made kind of further edits that was very much complex. Okay. So the weight was just adding up, and the complexity just increased. Okay. But at last, like, when I just ended the project, it was like, okay, why couldn't we make this more simpler? Because whatever base design I gave, that was also much complex. But at last, the design I got at the end was something very much smaller, something very much less complex than the before. So I feel a lot of things. Like, while making projects, I'll start.
So you mean to say your first idea was the best idea?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where your intuition works.
Exactly.
You may have heard this book, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, right? So your mind already has had its own more complex means of identifying a solution, and the more logical you derive, I think it is still doesn't match that kind of a standard.
Exactly.
Okay, so you are inspiring. If I'm sure as a scientist, you may have people who inspire you. Let me ask from certain different domains. Which philosopher inspires you? Which social change agent inspires you the most? Which politician inspires you the most? Which entrepreneur inspires you the most? Which scientist do you think is a very big role model for you?
To say a very much good role model for me when it comes to scientists, I should obviously give credits to Nikola Tesla, because his innovations also, it was like people never considered his innovations, and people were actually scolding Nikola Tesla. He never stopped. He just started to make his own inventions, and with his own money, he started to make a lot of good innovations to say. So also after leaving Nikola Tesla, one of my best kind of motivator is Steve Jobs. Even he's a tech entrepreneur to say. Like a lot of things with Steve Jobs did actually inspired me when it comes to the creation of the company Apple and how he marketed, how he sold his products, how he made it easy for people to reach, to see the products, and because computer was something those days it was considered as a scientific device, but he made computers as a general purpose kind of thing, so everyone are able to buy a computer in their house.
Since you believe in non-disruptive technology, I'm sure you love Steve Jobs for that reason. Because Steve Jobs did not steal jobs.
Yeah.
He created jobs.
He created. So coming to the last person, but not the least, the all-rounder to say, he's a philosopher, scientist, and a best motivator to say. Obviously, we'll talk APJ Abdul Kalam, sir. So he was an all-rounder to say. I was inspired by most of his technological stories, his motivations, his philosophies, his books. So a lot of things inspired when it comes to APJ Abdul Kalam, sir. So I should give full credit to him.
Okay, I would imagine a few years down the line, you will be quoted as one of the inspirations by some other inventor or entrepreneur. And I see that spirit, attitude, mindset, and the capability also in you. It has been a great pride, privilege, and honor to host you on this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you feel that Arattai with Achievers has made you discover this little achievers in a little different dimension? That's because you also got to know about their mindset, practices, and a lot of personal experience that made them a super achiever. There are at least two takeaways for everyone who is watching this. Number one, convert your adversity into an advantage point. And that's what Krithik did. When he had the wheezing problem, he used it to his advantage to stay at home and make more and more inventions with his toys. And number two, set a wider and larger goal. Your focus can be narrow, but set your goals to be wider. In Krithik's case, it was affordable inventions. And that is why he was able to make inventions cutting across fields, whether it is astronomy or automobiles or anything for that matter. So if you're a parent watching this video, help your children to see the advantage in adversity. And number two, don't make them to set a very, very narrow goal. Like, I will clear this NEET exam this year and get into this medical college. No, make them set a wider goal, and that will widen the scope and scale of their achievement. And this program is for you. I would request you to put down your comments in the comments box, and I'll be very happy to read them and cater to your needs in the next session.